What's going on, everybody? I would like to officially welcome you to the Fessin Up Podcast. I am your host, Fessel Shafat. You might know me as Fessy. I've been on Big Brother season 20 and 5 seasons of MTV's The Challenge. And, we're going to be talking about All Stars 4. I'm excited to actually watch a season that I'm not competing in and watch it strictly as a fan and give you guys my thoughts and, my thoughts on it. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host. His name is Michael LaRose, and he also runs as my producer. So he is a huge Big Brother fan, a huge Challenge fan. So I'm going to take it over to my co-host, Michael. He's got a bunch of All-Stars 4 questions for me, so I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with what you think about the episode. How did you get into episode 1, learning some new faces, seeing some old faces? What you think?
So yeah, about when I saw the All Stars forecast, about half of the cast I didn't even, I don't recognize because when I came onto the challenge, I came on Total Madness was my first season, which was season 35, and before that to prep, I had watched World of Worlds 1 and 2, and like the tail end of Total Madness. So all these OG players, I'm not familiar with.
Right.
So I was excited to see what all the OG hype was about, and that's why I was excited to watch All Stars 4. So
yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, like I wrote down a couple names of people we haven't seen in years. We had Adam Larson, Brandon Nelson, Jay Goldie, the guy who couldn't drink the drink. Kefla, Tony, Tyree, and then the girls. Girls are stacked this season. Honestly, it's one of the best girl seasons I've seen in a long time. We had Avery coming back, Cara obviously always going to be a force, and like Nicole Sonata. So, it was basically just recapping where everyone's been, how they've been doing, and then the format got released, the whole stars thing. How would you feel about the whole 6 stars, only go into elimination, all that good stuff?
So I'm definitely a fan of earning your stripes, in elimination. I've done 2 seasons, double agents, and actually Total Madness where you needed a skull, an elimination win to get into the final. So I'm all for the star twist. And I also like the concept of, there's for every daily challenge, there's the winning group, the middle group, and then the losing group.
Yep.
So, I've never been a part of a season where if you finish in the bottom half, you're on the chopping block.
Right.
I would love to be a part of that season. So, I'm interested to watch to see how it plays out. Everybody seems very friendly.
Yeah.
First couple episodes, everything, all the moves are easy, but, feathers are starting to get ruffled. So I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Of course. I mean, with the star system, especially that first challenge where it was called Reaching for the Stars, where the first 6 people, they got their stars. Would you want to be one of those first people with the stars, not really knowing how it's going to go when you have one? Or would you kind of want to ride that middle of the pack just to kind of see the format and how it, like the overview would go?
Yeah, I know a lot of players, they get into the challenge house and they don't want to win early because they don't want to put a target on their back. But, I think it's only natural if you go in as a competitor, you're there to compete. So any little chance you're given to prove yourself, you're going to do just that. And then you'll face the repercussions when that time comes. And that's how I play the challenge. So like I said, I'm interested to see how these OGs play the challenge. And that's why I'm tuning in All Stars 4 this time.
Yeah, I like it. And we just going over the winners. We had Brad and Cara for the guys and the girls #1 spots. And then Adam, Brandon, they also got stars. So from what I've picked up is those 2 guys who got stars and 2 girls that got stars, Avery and Rachel, theirs is up for grabs once the elimination comes up. So if you're the top dog every daily, obviously you're going to be safe. So I'm assuming that weighs in your favor because you're going to want to come in first. You're going to want to do well, So
yeah, we were talking before the show. You were like saying how potentially it's better to be in the middle group because if you're a political person, you could do a lot of the swaying, right? Which I get your perspective on that, but I'm thinking if I'm in the winning group, I don't even have to get blood in my hands. I don't even have to get blood on my hands, and I'm safe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that sounds like best of both worlds because not only are you safe from elimination, but you don't have to piss anybody off.
Right.
And I've never done a season where it's been like that. So, for me, that's even more motivation to win. I don't know how the All-Stars and OGs are treating it, if they are wanting to be in the middle group, but I most certainly would want to be in the winning group every time.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where like as a fan watching it, that's how it's different from a competitor in the house. Because for me, I look at it as like, okay, this is a little chancy. I'm not too familiar with how this is gonna go,
Hmm.
what these stars really pertain, how you get one. So I think for me, it's like, all right, you kind of want to ride it out in the middle. Whereas if you're always safe, you don't really have anything to worry about. So I get that perspective
Yeah.
as a competitor. Moving on to episode 1, further down the line, we had Tyree and Steve going in. Tyree, some of the worst luck in challenge history. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all or anything, but
Yeah, I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, but that makes it the 5th time he's been on the challenge and been the first boot.
yeah, I believe he is. He hasn't unfortunately won an elimination. He's been on 6, 7 seasons, I believe.
Hmm.
He just can't seem to get one under his belt.
I mean, he reminds me of a dude that I play with now called Nam. He reminds me of a dude named Nam that I've played a couple seasons with, because Nam's been on 2 or 3 times and he's had the most unfortunate luck every time. And
Yeah,
it's like, I haven't seen Tyree's older seasons, so I can't really speak on it. But that just, you got to get lucky on the challenge. And I haven't seen his eliminations that he lost, but sometimes the cards just aren't in your favor. That's
right,
why. I mean, he must feel grateful that at least he gets called back to come on the challenge, because
right,
a lot of times if you're first boot, they forget about you.
right.
You
Absolutely.
you might not even be asked back. So, but going to that elimination, I don't know.
Catching a falling star. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
What
off.
was it called?
Catching a falling star.
So going to the elimination, catching a falling star, you see these 2 big dudes, Steve and Tyree, and then you see them wrestling in a pit, like a ball pit, and
Right.
it's like, I don't know, it's like I kind of wanted to see them put hands on each other, but it's all stars, there's a lot of older cast, so I guess for the first one we'll cut them some slack, let them
Right.
ease into it, but
Get their feet wet, so to say.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, it was a close battle. Tyree ended up losing, unfortunately, 11-12, and I mean, it just the luck of the draw sometimes. And would that be something, an elimination, you would prefer to go in something like that, or would you rather it be more hands on? Because I mean, I guess necessarily you could have gotten physical, but it
hmm,
kind of defeats you in trying to find the ball. So
yeah.
how would you think you would do in that one?
I mean, me personally, I prefer a physical elimination every time. A lot of people think I only want hall brawl or like pole wrestle, but
Right.
I wouldn't even prefer hall brawl. Like, I like physical challenges where you could use your body control and athleticism, but as far as hall brawl, like, as much as I love head-on collisions, it's still like I said, a head-on collision,
Right.
So like if we don't have to do that and I could just beat you with like quickness or
Right.
like a balls in, I would love to do.
Yeah.
I've never done one of those. But to answer your question, no, like if it's something to where it's just luck, to where if you just so happen to find the ball with the star at the right
Right.
time, you could win. And it's like, as much as I would hate to do that, I'm not gonna sit up. I'm not gonna sit up on here and bitch all day about how the challenge should only make it physical. I get there's other factors to the game,
Right.
and that's the thing about the challenge. Like, you could be the greatest player in the world, but you still have to have luck on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's literally like they say, the luck of the draw. I mean, you get lucky, you get unlucky. That's the game. It's the name of
Hmm.
the game. So, and then so Steve ends up winning a star. Who did he steal? Who did he steal? I can't remember.
Did he have to steal somebody's star?
Yeah, because there were 6 out.
I couldn't tell you.
Let's see. He stole. Can't remember.
We'll go back to it.
Yeah, we'll get back to that one. But then in episode 2, as far as like watching it, getting the first one out of the way, getting a little familiar with some of the OGs and some people you haven't played with, watching it go transpire so far, how do you think you would do playing with these OGs with a little bit different of a style of gameplay,
That's a good question, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so if I were to play with the OGs, I definitely think I would be able to play a good game with them, just because watching the first couple episodes, a lot of the OGs, they're real. Like, they don't try to sugarcoat things or play like how people play Big Brother, where they try to lie and deceive. Some are doing that, but for
Right.
the most part, this is a lot older cast, so they're not trying to be with the bullshit. They're
Right.
like, yo, what are we doing? Like, if you lie to me, all right, then it's fuck you. And it's like, that's kind of how I am in the game. I'm
Right.
not, people look at me as this mischievous player. Sometimes they think I do these crazy moves, but in reality, if I win the daily, 99% of the time, everybody in the house is going to know which way I'm going. I'm not
Right.
trying to make it no mystery.
Yeah.
So I think, if I were to play, with All Stars and OG cast, I think it would reciprocate well.
Yeah, it's that straightforward gameplay that I'm not gonna make these shiesty moves if I don't have to. You're gonna know where I stand. You're gonna know who I'm going after, who I'm not going after, and where I stand in throughout that whole game. So it's just straightforward gameplay, I'd say,
Yep.
and exactly like the OGs have played thus far. As far as the second episode, the challenge Car Sick. How'd you feel about that one? The car spinning around with the math problems on the suitcase. That's more of obviously a mental thing. And as far as your typecast, people think you're just a physical guy. I feel like they sleep on that mental part, especially with things like numbers. So what do you think about that? How would you feel doing that? I guess.
Yeah, watching episode 2 and seeing the challenge was called Car Sick.
Yep, car sick.
Sick. I've done plenty of challenges like that. We've been strapped to the top of a car where we're peeling out and we're having to memorize, a pattern or do math problems, relay it to your partner.
Right.
And, me and Esther won a couple of those challenges on Spies, Lies, and Allies. And all those daily challenges come down to a couple things. One, how well you can communicate and execute with your partner.
Right.
And number two, how poised both of y'all can be and, not only think quick on your toes, but be able to figure it out, while other people are working around you.
Yeah.
You can't be worried about the other teams. And I know this one, they went in different heats, but
Yep.
you just got to be focused on what's important now. And,
Yeah.
so I love challenges like that.
Yeah, because I mean, it really makes you use that critical thinking, that on the fly thinking, that mental awareness of listening to the radio broadcast, making sure the numbers are right, adding, subtracting, just basic things. But when you're getting thrown in those pressure situations or those on the fly moments, a lot of people crumble. So I feel like, especially the people like you don't get that credit of that critical thinking ability that you bring to the table. Now we go through the winners. We had Tony, Jay, and then funny enough, the exes, Laurel and Nicole, and them just going back and forth. Like how would you think that situation would go? Working with an ex, trying to be cordial, working as a team. Like how would you feel comfortable in a situation like that, especially being the winning team?
If you guys want to see more of the Fessin Up podcast, head over to the link in my bio and subscribe to the Patreon for more.